Ken Wilkins from StandAloneHarness.com here, still at Certified Automotive in Orlando, Florida. Going to talk about what makes a Gen 5 LT core harness. We're going to focus on the L83 and L86 motors, 5.3, 6.2. Transmissions will all be pretty similar, but the engine harness is pretty much the most important thing that we're looking for. So what makes a complete harness? Obviously, as the harness comes to an end, this is the furthest point here, which is the throttle body and the alternator. The harness walks around. It picks up all four of the bank 2 coils, comes around the back of the engine, of course picks up the injector jumper connectors 1 and 2, and then drops down to the transmission. Now the transmission harness is always pretty much the same with regards to its routing. It comes down on the driver's side of the trans, circles around back, and then plugs in. Obviously there's different connectors between the 8-speed, 10-speed, and the 6L80, but for the most part the harness routing is always the same. The main trunk of the harness then continues forward on the engine, plugs into the 4 coils on bank 1. This particular chunk of harness that's hanging here is for the TCM, for the T87 TCM, which manages the 8-speed and 10-speed transmissions. A 6L80 harness will not have this particular connector on it. Harness continues forward. Main trunk of it drops down, and at this point we've got the 3 connectors for the ECM. You've got the X2 and X3 here. X1 ECM connector is the blue. What's important that's not chopped off the harness by your dismantler is the fuse block harness or the fuse block connector. We actually, because each of our fuse blocks on the standalone system has correctly rated fuses. Without this, if this has been chopped off, like this one has, we have to backpin everything in the harness and verify what circuit's what, because we're not just wadding all the purple wires together and feeding the engine a bunch of current. We are correctly fused for each circuit, just like GM intended. So when these are cut off, the backpinning results in an additional 1/2 hour charge on the harness rework cost. So if you can convince your dismantler not to chop that piece off, it'll save yourself a little bit of money.